Influential jazz guitarist Ralph Towner has died. The musician's passing was confirmed earlier today, January 18th, by his long-term label ECM. Ralph Towner was 85 years old and had latterly lived in Rome. The guitarist was unusual in that he was one of very few modern figures in jazz and improvisatory music who focused exclusively on the acoustic instrument. Associated with both 6 and 12-string, Ralph Towner broadened the lexicon of the guitar within jazz and inspired countless followers. While initially gaining notice as a pianist, Ralph Towner quickly turned heads with his skills on the guitar in the New York jazz scene of the late 60 seconds. Appearing on Weather Report's powerhouse fusion classic I Sing the Body Electric, his own 1975 album Solstice has rightly earned classic status within the jazz pantheon. Continuing to embrace new ideas, Ralph Towner utilized overdubbing to create one-man orchestras in the studio, while also introducing synthesizer aspects into his work. He also made us of an old trick, weaving a matchbook among the strings at the neck of the instrument, thereby turning the acoustic guitar into a percussive instrument. Although his work could be challenging at times, Ralph Towner's output did gain broad recognition. Intriguingly, 2 lunar craters, Icarus and Ghost Beads, were named by the Apollo 15 astronauts after his work. Ralph Towner lived in Italy since the early 90 seconds. First in Palermo, Sicily, and then latterly in Rome. Fans mourned the loss on social media. Twitter user Michael Fishman called his passing a loss beyond words. Twitter user @Carmenerites adds, "A brilliant player, could go from solemn to scatting and classic to contemporary seamlessly." Twitter commentator @JacobJBJ said, "Just saw we lost Ralph Towner. Damn, what can you say? Virtuoso at every instrument he played, brilliant in all formats, and one of my favorites. We lost a great today." When we talk about legendary musicians, we often think of flashy stardom, sold-out arenas, and constant media attention. But some legends walk a quieter path, shaping music deeply, profoundly, and almost invisibly. Today's story is about Ralph Towner, an American musician whose influence stretches across jazz, classical, and world music, even if his name isn't always in the headlines. A master of the classical guitar, 12-string guitar, piano, and composition, Ralph Towner is best known as a founding member of the iconic jazz group Oregon and as one of the defining artists of the legendary ECM Records sound. In this video, we'll explore his early life and biography, his career, journey, and musical legacy, his family life, wife, and children, his lifestyle and personality, and his estimated net worth. So sit back, relax, and let's step into the quiet, beautiful world of Ralph Towner. Ralph Towner was born on the 1st of March 1940 in Chehalis, Washington, USA. Music surrounded him early in life. His mother was a piano teacher, which meant music wasn't just entertainment, it was part of daily life. By the time most kids were discovering cartoons, Ralph was already developing a relationship with sound, harmony, and structure. He began studying piano and classical music seriously as a child. Unlike many jazz musicians who start in clubs or bands, Towner's foundation was deeply classical, disciplined, and academic. After high school, he attended the University of Oregon, where he studied composition and classical piano. At this stage, guitar wasn't even his primary instrument, piano was. But everything changed when Ralph encountered classical guitar. The guitar offered something piano didn't: portability, intimacy, a direct physical connection to sound. This would become central to his artistic identity. While studying classical music, Ralph Towner became fascinated by jazz improvisation, particularly musicians who blurred genre boundaries. Instead of choosing between classical and jazz, he did something radical for the time. He fused them. Towner approached jazz with a composer's mindset, structured forms, counterpoint, modal harmony, odd time signatures. And he approached classical music with a jazz musician's spirit, freedom, spontaneity, personal interpretation. This hybrid approach made him hard to categorize, but that's exactly what made him special. By the late 1960s, Ralph had started collaborating with like-minded musicians who shared a love for non-Western instruments, folk traditions, jazz improvisation, chamber music aesthetics. This creative convergence would soon lead to something historic. In 1970, Ralph Towner co-founded the group Oregon. The original lineup included Ralph Towner, guitar, piano, composition; Paul McCandless, oboe, English horn, saxophones; Glenn Moore, bass; Colin Walcott, sitar, tabla, percussion. Oregon wasn't just a band, it was a new musical language. They blended jazz improvisation, classical forms, Indian music, folk traditions, ambient soundscapes. At a time when jazz was loud and electric, Oregon went acoustic, subtle and expansive. Their music didn't chase trends, it created a world. Oregon became one of the longest-running jazz groups in history, with a career spanning more than 5 decades. Ralph Towner's compositions formed the emotional and harmonic backbone of the group. Ralph Towner's career took a defining turn when he began working with ECM Records, the German label known for its pristine sound and minimalist aesthetic. ECM was the perfect home for Towner's music. Space, silence, clarity, emotional depth. In 1973, he released one of his most important albums, Diary. This solo guitar record is now considered a landmark in modern acoustic guitar music. Other essential solo and collaborative albums include Solstice, Batik, Solo Concert, Anthem, Anna. Towner also collaborated with jazz greats such as Gary Burton, John Abercrombie, Egberto Gismonti, Jan Garbarek. Despite working with legends, he always remained understated, focused on the music, not fame. Ralph Towner's style is instantly recognizable. Key characteristics: use of odd meters, 5/4, 7/8, 9/8. Rich harmonic voicings, melodic storytelling, classical fingerstyle technique, open tunings, and 12-string textures. He influenced generations of jazz guitarists, classical crossover musicians, ambient and film composer, modern acoustic players. Artists often cite him as a musician's musician, someone deeply respected, even if not commercially mainstream. Ralph Towner lives a very private and minimalist lifestyle. Unlike many famous musicians, he avoids celebrity culture, social media, excessive publicity. His lifestyle reflects his music: quiet, thoughtful, grounded, intellectually driven. He prefers composing, practicing, reading, teaching, living close to nature. Those who know him describe him as soft-spoken, highly intelligent, deeply disciplined, intensely focused on craft. Ralph Towner is extremely private when it comes to his family life. What is publicly known: he has been married, but details about his wife are not widely disclosed. Information about children, if any, has been intentionally kept out of the public eye. This privacy is not accidental. Towner has always believed that the music should speak louder than the musician's personal life. Unlike many artists who build public personas, he chose separation between art and private life, a rare approach in modern culture. Now let's talk about Ralph Towner's net worth. Because he avoids commercial spotlight and endorsement culture, exact figures are not publicly available. However, based on album sales, decades of touring, ECM recording royalties, composition and publishing rights. Teaching and residencies. Ralph Towner's estimated net worth is between $1 million and $3 million USD. His income sources include record royalties, live performances, licensing and publishing, collaborations and commissions. While not a billionaire or pop superstar, his wealth represents artistic longevity, creative independence, intellectual legacy. Ralph Towner is not just a guitarist. He is not just a composer. He is not just a jazz musician. He is a bridge between worlds, classical and jazz, structure and freedom, tradition and innovation. In a noisy world, his music teaches us the power of space and silence. His legacy isn't measured in chart positions or headlines, but in the countless musicians who found a new path because of his work. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Ralph Towner's life, don't forget to like the video, comment your favorite Ralph Towner album, subscribe for more legendary music stories. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.